So before we do our last song, I do want to introduce our musician today, Valerie Landsburg, who is a new and old Mainer. But before we dive into that, with your relationship with Maine, let's talk about how we met. Tell everybody in Maine life the story of our friendship.
Well, it starts with my boyfriend and I going, what are we going to do on a Friday night? And we see this thing called Hollerfest 2. We find out it's music. We find out there are 3 bands playing and this youth orchestra. And we're like, okay, we're parents. We like a youth orchestra, you know.
And this is at the Strand in Rockland.
This was at the Strand in Rockland. And so we go, packed. And the first band is Darlingside. And this lovely group of young musicians sort of marches out and takes their place on the stage. And they start to play the song. And the orchestra comes in. And you could hear this audible gasp. As the piece grows and grows, people are becoming more and more excited. And then there's a piece where there's a big string section. And then it finishes and people just start yelling. And when the whole concert was over, that's when I just stormed backstage.
You had no permission to storm back, and that's what I love.
I had no permission to storm backstage, and I did at the end of the concert.
And you walked up to me, you hugged me first, without ever meeting me, ever, and then you looked at me like, my name's Valerie. And that was it. That was the start of it.
I said, what do you need?
What do you need? And ever since then, we've been partners in crime, and it's been great. So you've been a huge addition to both Maine Youth Rock Orchestra, but also like your background on Maine. So you moved here 3 years ago, full time, but you've been coming here since you were 5.
I've been coming here since I was 5. All my cousins were from Port Clyde, and my grandmother brought me here. My mother's cousins were here, and my folks, my mom and my stepdad, moved back to Rockland. Well, first Owl's Head, then Rockland, 25 years ago.
And for those who don't know Valerie's background, you were Doris on the TV series Fame.
Yes, I did 4 years on that show.
And bringing this all back to Maine, like, why did you relocate from West Coast to Rockland?
This was always like the magical place for me to come, was Maine, and I always came to the same place because my cousins were all there. And then when my mother moved back, she was teaching at what was Rockport Film and Photographic, which then became Maine Media.
Okay.
I started teaching there, so I started coming once a year to teach directors. And, you know, this is where I wanted to be. When my kids were grown, I thought, I want to do 2 things. I want to live much smaller, and I want it to be in Maine. There's some crazy juju here. I wake up every day going, I live here.